You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not unique. You're not the only one. I'm telling you right now, trust me, I've been around for so long. I've heard so many different stories and experiences from all different types of men, all different types of backgrounds. I've heard stories about sexual abuse, either being the abused or the abuser. I've heard stories about tremendous financial failures. I've heard stories about men being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, men cheating on their partners, men who were cheated on by their partners, men who committed crimes that nobody ever found out about. I've heard men share their secrets, the dirtiest socks and skeletons in their closet, with other men in a safe container. And I've also witnessed the healing that comes from sharing these things. So I'm recording this episode today because I think it's appropriate at this point in time to share more of myself, to lead in that way and let all of you guys know that you're not the only one. Because I've had times in my life, one time in my life where I've cheated on a girlfriend. It was the worst experience in my life. A man who considers myself to be the pillar of integrity, cheating on a girlfriend. Even though it doesn't matter how long ago it was, that feeling still lives in my body. And I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like to witness the same pain in other men who have cheated or been cheated on. Because I've been both. Now, getting a little bit deeper, right? These vulnerable truths that we share, they become more tender. If we hold on to them for larger portions of our lives, then they actually take our power away. The stories, the experiences that we've had, whether they go all the way back to childhood or when we were teenagers, or maybe even just last year, they still have power over us until we claim that power back. And one of the ways we claim that power back is by sharing, by letting people know the things that we've had happen to us, things that have occurred, things that we've done, things that we hold shame and guilt around, because shame and guilt literally occupies real estate in the body. Some of these things have been really difficult for me to share. And I'm grateful that in so many different men's circles, there's been spaces that were safe and confidential enough for me to trust that I could say this without any major consequences. Because that's the biggest fear you have, right? What if I say this? What will people think of me? What will my parents say? What will my girlfriend do? Maybe I'll end up broke, alone. Maybe people will start to judge me. I'll lose my friends. My family won't want to talk to me anymore. The fear of the consequences and repercussions of sharing things that everybody else is experiencing simultaneously is crippling. Just take that in for a second. Now, there's some things that I've shared in confidential circles that when I first shared them, I literally had sweaty palms and, uncomfortable. I was like, my heart rate started to beat, and I was anticipating what I would say and how it would be received by other people. But then when I did it, all of that pressure went away because I could look around the room and see that, wow, everyone's here and they're still looking at me. They're not looking at me awkwardly. They're not smirking. They're not laughing. They're actually putting their hand on their heart. There's actually somebody crying. There's actually somebody raising their hand because they've experienced the exact same thing. So I'm encouraging you guys out there to consider what some of those shameful or guilt-ridden things that you have inside of your body, inside of your past, what are those things? And why are you holding so much guilt and shame around them? What if you could just own it and let it go? What if you could admit that you watch porn every single day? And that you have a habitual use of porn and masturbation that you believe is unhealthy, that you've been doing since you were a young age. That maybe when you were a kid, you saw your cousin or your older sibling masturbating and it turned you on or it did something to you. These are very normal experiences. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories like this that people are terrified to share. Now, one of the biggest stories that I've shared in these spaces is something I'm going to share right now, because having said it in multiple circles, it's removed a lot of the charge and a lot of the weight that it had on me. And when I was 9 years old, I had my first sexual experience, and it was with two friends of mine who were also male. So for many years, I carried around this story that, whoa, my first sexual exploration was with two other boys. What does that mean about me? Am I a homosexual? Am I gay? Am I straight? What does this mean about me as a human being? That thought was playing on repeat for years and years and years. And the first time that I ever shared that with other people was almost 20 years after it happened. And since that time, every time that I've shared that with another circle of men and another circle of men or another community, it's taken its power away. And now here I am putting it on wax, putting it on a podcast, because I know that I am not the only one with an experience like that. I know there's somewhere, someone else out there, one of you guys listening to this or watching this right now is like, whoa, I can't believe he just said that, because that's happened to me too. Or maybe you explored sexually with a younger sibling, or maybe you had some other sexual experience at a young age that you're ashamed of, that you don't want to share, that you're terrified what people may think if they found out. Well, you're not alone. You're not the only one. You're not unique. I can at least attest for myself, because I've been there before. I've been tens of thousands of dollars in debt before. I've had so much shame around my finances and the way that I led my family through the early years of having children that I've never wanted to ever talk about it. I was afraid to talk to my parents about it because I thought that they would judge me or think differently of me for bad decisions that I made. I was afraid to talk to my friends about it because I thought that they would judge me the same way, that they wouldn't understand, when in reality they were having the exact same experiences with their own finances. So the take home here, guys, is that whatever you're ashamed of, whatever you feel guilty about, I guarantee you that you're not the only one, and that your history doesn't define who you are today. Your history is just records of the experiences that you've had. What matters more is what you do with it moving forward. So especially if you have something you feel shameful or guilty about that hurt somebody else, that you felt was irresponsible, was selfish, was downright reckless and dangerous, what matters is, what do you do with that experience moving forward? Will you take ownership of it? Will you take accountability? Will you reach out to that person that you violated or harmed and offer a sincere apology? Take ownership for what you did. Now, is there fear around that? This is where fear creeps in. But what if they want to file a police report? What if they tell all of my friends? What if they smear me on social media? Well, that's out of your control. But is it better to sit with that guilt and shame for the rest of your life, knowing that you never acknowledge that thing inside of your heart that's just rips at you whenever it peeks its head? That's for you to decide. I'm not here to tell you what to do. All I'm here to let you know is that it is much more liberating to own our experiences and take our power back from them instead of letting them define us. Because those things happened a long time ago. Those things happened yesterday or last year or last decade. You're who you are today because of what you went through, but also because of who you choose to be in this moment. You're not alone. You're not unique. And you're not the only one. I hope that one hits you where it counts. Share this with somebody else who needs to hear it. And make sure you tune in next week for another Monday morning meditation. Peace out.